Assalamu alaikum dear students, class 11 यूनिट है थर्मोडायनेमिक्स। पिछले वीडियो लेक्चर में हमने डिस्कस किया था प्रोसेस किसे कहते हैं। प्रोसेस है दैट्स conversion of an initial state into the final state. Conversion of one state into the another state is called a process. For example, we have A and we convert it into the B system. This is our A system, and we have converted into the another system, that is the final system, which is called as the system B. Then we have the various types of the processes. That's we have the isothermal process. Then we have the another one that's called the isochoric process or isochoric process. Number third we have the adiabatic process, and number fourth we have the isobaric process. आज मैं डिस्कस करना है कि these processes they can be either the reversible processes or they can be irreversible processes. So these thermodynamic processes they may be reversible or they may be irreversible. आज हम जानेंगे what is a reversible and what is an irreversible process. Reversible process and irreversible process. रिवर्सिबल प्रोसेस में क्या होता है कि यहाँ पर एक हमारे पास है एक सिस्टम. सपोज दिस इज अवर सिस्टम फर्स्ट. इसका वॉल्यूम है सपोज V1. हमने इसको फिट किया है एक फ्रिक्शनलेस पिस्टन. अब if the pressure difference between the internal pressure and the external pressure is very small, then suppose the internal pressure is more than that of the external pressure, तो ये गैस मॉलिक्यूल्स जो है पुश करेंगे पिस्टन को upwards, and then it reaches here and it gets converted into another system, that's our B system having the volume V2. So there is always an equilibrium. अगर ऊपर का pressure, that's external pressure, is more than that of the internal pressure, the slightly more than that of the internal pressure, then the piston it will move downwards and the system will be converted back to its original position. So this process is called as a reversible process, where we have the pressure difference or the driving force and the opposing force, they are very small, while as in case of irreversible processes the pressure difference, that is the internal pressure and the external pressure, is very high, is very large. For example, we have the initial system V1, and if we have the external pressure here, suppose this is the internal pressure, this is the external pressure. If the difference between the two is very large, the process is an irreversible process. जब ये process हो जाएगी, the piston, suppose if the internal pressure is less than that of the external pressure, the piston it will move downwards and gets converted into the another system having the volume V2, and then there is a large pressure difference between the two. Driving force and opposing force के दरमियान बहुत ज़्यादा difference है. तो at that time the initial system is not converted in final system, is not converted back into the initial system. The process is called as an irreversible process. So reversible process में क्या होता है, initial system is converted into the final and final back into the initial, because the pressure difference, because the driving force and the opposing force, they have very small difference, while as in case of the irreversible process there is no equilibrium. There is equilibrium only at the final stage between the initial state and the final state. Why? Because the driving force and opposing force के दरमियान difference जो है that is very large. And then this is first point. This is carried out slowly. The reversible process is carried out slowly, while as irreversible process it is carried out rapidly. यहाँ पर the reaction it gets completed, the process it gets completed in a large number of steps, while in this case the process it gets completed in a finite number of steps. It takes large time. Reversible process में बहुत ज़्यादा time लगता है for a process to get completed, while as in irreversible processes limited time is needed for the process to get completed. So these are the points of difference Maximum work is done in case of reversible processes. Minimum work is done in case of irreversible processes. There is always equilibrium. In case of reversible process, there is always equilibrium between the system and the surroundings, while as in case of the irreversible processes, the equilibrium occurs only at the initial and the final state of the process. So these are the points of difference between the reversible process and irreversible process. So we have reversible and irreversible processes. Reversible process, it is carried out infinitesimally slowly. It is not carried out infinitesimally. Number 2, it gets completed in an infinite number of steps. While as number 2, while as it gets completed in a finite number of steps. There is always equilibrium between the system and the surroundings. There is equilibrium only at the initial and the final state of the process. There is equilibrium at each stage. There is equilibrium between the system and the surroundings. At each stage, number 3rd point, at each stage, there is equilibrium between the system and the surroundings. Number 3rd point इसमें there is equilibrium between the initial state and the final state. Maximum work is done in case of the reversible process, while as minimum work is done in case of irreversible process. Why? Because the process it takes large number of steps in the reversible processes, while as in case of irreversible processes, the process gets completed in a finite number of steps. Number 4th point इसमें है, that is the maximum work is done in reversible process, while as minimum work is done in irreversible processes. The concept of the reversible processes is hypothetical, while as practically irreversible processes they occur practically. 5th point of difference between the reversible and irreversible processes is it is a theoretical concept. 5th point इसमें it is a theoretical concept, while as it is a practical phenomena. It takes large time to get completed, while as it gets completed in a single step, or it gets completed quickly. It takes large time to get completed. It takes large time to get completed, whereas it it takes lesser time to get completed. So these are the points of difference between the reversible process and the irreversible processes. Now we have the another topic in the thermodynamics that's called as the work. Now we have the work, and what do you mean by work? In physics we say whenever we apply a force to a substance and it covers certain distance or displacement, it is said to be work done. So we have work done. Work done, or that is work. When a force is applied, on a substance, it covers certain distance. Suppose if the force is F, and when force is applied to a substance, it covers distance dl. Suppose dl, then work done, or L, distance L, then W is equal to F into L. This is work done. So we have the work done. Suppose अगर हमारे पास एक सब्सटेंस है, हम इसको फोर्स अप्लाई करते हैं, तो ये कवर करता है certain, it is pushed in the direction of the force, and it covers this much of the distance, and this is called as work done. This is said to be work done when we apply the force and it covers certain distance. The work is said to be done, and that work is equal to W is equal to F into L. So we have the work, and work it is our following types. We have the electrical work, we have the mechanical work. Electrical work के बारे में आपको class 12th में पढ़ना है in electrochemistry unit, while as in this unit we are going to discuss here the mechanical work, or that is also called as the pressure volume work done. So we have the work is our following types. Number first we have the electrical work. We have the electrical work. Number first we have electrical work, and number second we have mechanical work. We have electrical work. Electrical work किसे कहते हैं? Electrical work में क्या होता है? Work W, that is equal to the force जो उसमें होता है electrical work में, that is that is EMF, electromotive force, that's equal to the EMF multiplied by the quantity of electricity passed. इसके बारे में आपको क्लास 12th में पढ़ना है in the unit that's called as electrochemistry. But in this unit, in the thermodynamics, we are going to discuss what is mechanical work. And what is mechanical work? It's also called as the pressure volume work done. So we have mechanical work or pressure volume work done. We have number for second, we have mechanical work, or that's also called as a pressure volume work done. We have the mechanical work and we have the pressure volume work done. And to understand this, we are going to consider a cylinder, having a cylinder which is filled with a gas and it is fitted with a frictionless piston. Suppose this is our frictionless piston. Suppose the pressure of the gas molecules inside the cylinder, that is called the Pi, and the external pressure, that's called the P external. Suppose if we say the P external is less than P internal, that or P internal is greater than P external, तो क्या हो जाएगा, ये गैस जो है it will push the piston upwards in and with a force and it covers certain distance. Suppose the volume of this system is equal to V1 and let area of cross section of the cylinder is equal to a square centimeter, suppose. And if P is the external P, we have the P external pressure and we have the P internal pressure, and so the internal pressure is more than that of the external pressure, what will happen? The gas molecules, they will push the piston upwards with a force. So we have P internal is greater than P external and the gas molecules जो होते हैं, gas molecules will push the piston upwards at that time with a force, and that force is given by piston upwards with a force F, and that force F, that is equal to, because we know that area किसके बराबर होता है, pressure किसके बराबर होता है, we have pressure is equal to force per unit area, and force इसके बराबर है, that is P into A, pressure into area of cross section. So the gas molecules, they will push the piston upwards with a force which is given by P into A, and this A is the area of cross section and P is the pressure. Then there is a sort of work done, because the gas molecules जो होते हैं, they will push the piston upwards, and that piston, it will cover a small distance. Suppose it covers a small distance dl, and the volume of the system, it changes, gets converted into the V2. So we have work done, small work done by the system, that is equal to integral of dw is equal to integral of, यहाँ वर्क डन हम पहले लिखेंगे, वर्क डन किसके बराबर है, दैट इज इक्वल टू फोर्स इनटू द स्मॉल डिस्टेंस. अब वर्क डन इज इक्वल टू फोर्स किसके बराबर है, दैट्स प्रेशर इनटू A इनटू dl, एंड नाउ देयर इज स्मॉल change in the displacement, therefore the work done by the gas molecules is also very small. So we have the small work done by the gas molecules, that is given by small work done by the gas molecules is dw is equal to integral of dw is equal to integral of P into A into dl. Now the pressure that's constant we have, so there is very small pressure difference, so we keep the pressure that's constant dw, integral of dw is equal to P into integral of A into dl. So we have this and this will cancel out, w is equal to P into integral of area of cross section, small distance covered, that's equal to the dv, and there is the change in the volume v1 to v2. This is the work done, small work done done by the gas molecules, and these gas molecules, they push the piston upwards, and there is small change in the distance or the displacement is there, and the work done by the gas molecule, that is given by this. And if there is a large pressure difference between the P external and the P internal, then the work is done. Here the work done, that is reversible expansion. While as in case of irreversible expansion, there is large difference between the large distance is covered, and there is large difference in the P external and the P internal, and at that time we say the work done, that is given by, in case of irreversible expansion, we have W is equal to P into this one we have V2 minus V1, and W is equal to P into del V. This is the work of expansion, क्योंकि यहाँ पर expansion हो गया. Why? Because the internal pressure is more than that of the external pressure, and then the gas, they will expand. And if the external pressure is more than that of the internal pressure, the piston, it will move downwards, and there is the contraction of the gas molecules. So work of expansion is given by W is equal to P del V, but here we take the minus sign for the work of expansion. For work of expansion, W is equal to minus P del V, while as for work of compression, W is equal to P del V. This is the work done, pressure volume work done irreversibly and reversibly. Irreversible में क्या होता है कि W is equal to P into delta V, that's the large change in the volume. While as in case of the irreversible expansion, the work done, that is equal to the P into dV, integral of V1 to V2, that's the small work done, or we have the W is equal to P into del integral of dV, small work done in case of the reversible part. In case of irreversible expansion, we have work done is equal to P into delta V, that's large change in the volume, and for then we obtain the expression for the work of expansion, we have the W is equal to minus P del V, and for work of compression, W is equal to P del V. So this was the mechanical work done by the gas molecule, or that's also called as the pressure volume work done. And in the next video lecture, we are going to discuss the work done in case of isothermal reversible expansion of the gas molecules. Thank you so much.